the prison where they've been holding, especially those who are against the regime. This has been happening for quite a long time, and it's one of the most notorious prisons that everybody got to discover recently. As Syrians who have been, were you aware of what was happening, the atrocities that this regime has been committing against its own people? Were you aware?
No, we did not expect to that level.
Why?
We know, first, it was not allowed to any to see what is inside. Even for international organizations, it was not allowed to inspect. It was to that level.
Were you traveling back to Syria during this time of the regime of Assad? Have you been traveling to Syria?
Yes,
freely?
I was traveling. I was there this year, early this year.
When you were there early this year, what did you realize when you were there? What was the situation? Did you see any kind of tension within the populace or even the forces themselves?
No, I did not see. What I noticed, which is very clear, that economy is collapsed completely. That was the very clear point which I noticed. But otherwise,
what was the indicator that the economy had collapsed?
What you mentioned now, the salary for government employee is $20 to $30. So this cannot be enough for a few days to survive.
Then how were people surviving in Syria? Food, health services, were they available during this time, especially when Syria went on to a fully-fledged war?
We have many people working abroad. You cannot find any family without one member abroad. So that's the real resource. Even the regime of Assad was trying to fight against this resource, the lonely resource. How? Very simply, if you move at street with $100, you may find yourself in prison.
Why? Why would you be in prison?
Because it's not allowed to have a dollar. So they were very tough.
You are not allowed to enter Syria with dollars. So for you, how were you going to Syria?
Me, I allowed because I'm working abroad. I work abroad and I have some defense protection myself as a representative of this regime or the country. But at the end, this regime knows, and he's not looking at me. He's looking at the other people, the normal people who stay and work in Syria. They spying and checking anyone has any currency. But
why was this regime fearing a dollar?
I feel that they just wanted to scare people, to keep them scared, not to think about freedom, not always to think just how to get some little money to feed their people. That's it. And then when they arrest those people, they will find their relative to send more money to get them out. So this is another resource for their people. A group supporting the regime. So that's the situation.
So being a consular, that means you have like a card, a green card to access the president.
No.
Did you ever meet Assad, president, or the ex-president Assad face to face?
I met him once when I get my responsibility as a representative for Syrian government. I met him once in a conference. So we were a group of honorary consuls, not alone. But I met him face to face and I talked to him face to face.
When you look at him, what kind of a person is he? Who is Assad?
Okay. Actually, this was 2010. I did not expect for such person who was educated in UK, he was studied medicine in UK, I've seen democracy. So I expect from him different. I did not expect that to kill people by throwing bombs to his own people. Bombs, and this happened within more than 10 years. We expected less tough son.
Were you disappointed that you were serving one of the worst leaders in the history of the Syrian regimes?
Before the war started, I was feeling shy and disappointed because I could not say that I'm against him. But at the same time, I could not talk good about him. So I just kept quiet and tried to serve my people, regardless.
You have been in the regime that has been ousted for 15 years or serving it. What rights did this regime offer to people? Or like Syrians, did they have any rights that they would enjoy that were fundamental to them?
Well, as I told you, I was not part of that regime. I was not.
You served the regime.
I served the country.
You served the country in that regime.
In that regime, yes.
Yes, but I'm saying in the very regime where you have served, I want to know what rights did the Syrians or have the Syrians been enjoying? Is there any rights or are there any rights that the Syrians have been enjoying all this time?
Absolutely not. People in Syria who had no any rights.
Do you feel relieved after seeing this regime collapse?
I can tell you it is one moment among the best moments in my life. I know that in Syria now is not the best time. Even with the new regime, they have many challenges, but we know all that we passed the most difficult challenge. So all what's coming now will be easier.
Do you have any assurance from the current regime that things will be better, or it could be just a repeat of what happened? All they needed was power, and then maybe become worse.
Repeating what happened, at least now it's impossible. People cannot go back to what happened. People have got the lesson. People have thrown fear behind.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moustafa, for your time that you have accorded to NTV Uganda.
Thank you so much, and wish, as I told you, that we shall do some interview in Syria with Uganda.